Hello everyone, welcome back to another art time lapse. This piece is called Dreamscape. It's actually inspired by Studio Ghibli's My Neighbor Totoro. It's one of my favorite all-time animes, and every time I think of it, it makes me really comforted and just like feel like it's a very dream state mode for me, and it's my happy place. So today I'm going back to my happy place and just painting a piece inspired by Studio Ghibli's Totoro. I want it to be super dreamy, soft, and like I started off with like these purples mixed together with like cobalt blues and also magenta. These are some primary colors that I picked up at my local art store, and I'm using acrylic gouache. As you can see from my previous videos as well, I tend to water down my gouache quite a bit in the beginning as I lay the groundwork for where everything is going to be located, where the mountains are, where the grass is going to end. And like for nature, I feel like I can be a little bit more relaxed when I paint compared to, let's say, portraits. A lot of times when you paint portraits, I feel there's a lot of pressure because when you're looking at a portrait, you'll be like, that doesn't look like the man or the woman that you're drawing. And it's just a lot easier to tell. Whereas for nature, I think it's a little bit more forgiving. If you're off by a little bit for that mountain, it's okay. If you have extra blade of grass over here, it's okay. And that's why I really enjoy painting nature, that there isn't as much pressure to have everything perfect. And I find it really relaxing. And lately I've been finding that painting should be more about like enjoying the process and just really enjoying it with some good music or a tea or some snacks while I'm painting. So here I wanted something very dreamscape, so I'm using a lot of pastel lighter colors, not any like sharp lines right off the bat. I'm gonna do some mountains. We'll do a moon at the far side of the painting later on, and then I'm going to do lots of blades of colorful grass in the front as I proceed. And you'll see as I'm going through this video that like in the beginning I actually didn't have a clear idea what I was doing, so I was playing around with a lot of different colors and it might look a little bit murky, but luckily I think over time it did come together quite nicely. So you can see for acrylic gouache, when it's wet, it like dark colors will look a little bit darker, but once it dries it looks a bit lighter. So that's why you see me going back adding shadows, because once it dries I was just like, oh, it's not coming as dark as I would like, so I have to kind of go back and repaint it. I must admit this piece took me much longer than I expected to finish, just because of the variety of details and the colors related to it, but that's okay. I actually really like how it turned out at the end, so I really don't mind the time put in. So you can see I'm here adding like little blades of grass in this kind of lilac purple color, and later on you can see me adding like different colors because I wanted it to be like a feel, it's very expansive feel of all these color flowers and grass, and then Totoro just sitting and enjoying like the bliss of being in nature and like not being bogged down by anything. And that's something that I think I miss, and when I go on my nature walks with my kids, I really appreciate a lot more beyond just like the hustle and bustle everyday life of all of this like social media and like television, everything in your face. It's nice to get a little bit break from it from time to time. So here you can see I'm adding blades of grass that is like at the bottom of the page, and these are more distinct and like lines are a little bit more defined because these objects are closer, whereas objects that are further away are a little bit more blended, softer colors. So that creates a little bit more dimension for the art piece, as opposed to just like looking very 2D if there's no like distance or like depth to it. So here you can see I'm starting to add on like different color tones for the grass, and like I want to speed it up for you because this actually took a long time. I think overall for this piece it did take me several weeks, but I only get like a few hours each weekend to work on it while my kids are napping. Not to say I don't enjoy painting with my kids, it's just a lot more time and pretty intensive to kind of explain my process to my kids for the time being. But Here you can see I'm adding some lighter colors, some oranges, some reds. It's kind of like a nice opportunity to play around the color wheels and all the different colors available. Zooming out, now you can see how the piece looks like overall. You can see it's actually developed quite a bit compared to in the beginning, where it was just purely a lot of blues, lilacs, and pinks. Now that I've added in some of these vibrant colors, I think that the expansive field of flowers has really popped, and I'm really liking it. And next I'm trying to think of like, where would I put Totoro in this like space? Where would he be sitting? What will he be doing? I imagine he'll be playing with his like little pipe, so there will be like this Totoro music playing in the background. I feel like that will be really relaxing. Also love like how vibrant this painting is, and that like I think my kids will like it a lot. They like things that are really colorful, but at the same time I don't want it to be too tacky. So here you can see I'm adding a little bit of white. The painting is coming together quite nicely. I'm painting on a Stonehenge watercolor block right now, just in case you're curious, and it's roughly around 9 inches by 12 inches in size. Of course, if you do a larger piece, it looks a lot nicer when you scan it and you shrink it down to print, but I think that this is a really good intermediate size for me, something not too large and not too small. I do find that painting on larger surfaces can be a little intimidating, so I'm actually really grateful to have something kind of in between. But at the same time, painting larger surfaces, I think it looks aesthetically so much better when you're like framing it and putting it in your home as opposed to a smaller piece. So I can see pros and cons related to it. So now I'm gonna paint in Totoro. I'm gonna have him hold onto an umbrella, maybe to keep away the pollen, or maybe like from the heat of the sun. I'm not really sure, just thought that it fits and I wanted it, so I'm gonna go ahead with it. So here you can see I'm painting in Totoro along with the little Totoros on the side. I find that this piece is just so dreamy and it's working out how I liked it, so I'm just gonna go with it. So here, just speeding it up, you can see I start the darker colors and then add lighter colors. If you want the Totoro to pop up a little bit more, what I will recommend is painting like a white wash background for where you see the character is first, and then painting the dark colors. It will pop so much more with that white. So here's a closer look as I work on some of the details like the umbrella, so it pops a little bit more. I don't want Totoro to just blend in with the background, which is why I usually paint it at the end, after I finish the background, to figure out like where the character fits. And then of course adding in these darker colors to outline where the character begins and ends really helps as well. At the end, I do go back with my Sakura jelly roll to highlight where the light glistens off Totoro and like the instrument that he's playing with himself. So I'm almost wrapped up here. I hope you enjoyed this video so far of this dreamscape, purple dreamscape, inspired by Studio Ghibli's My Neighbor Totoro, this fan art piece. Well, I really enjoyed it and I'm glad you follow along. I hope you have a wonderful day as you kind of watch the final piece and how it reveals itself, and hopefully I'll see you next time in another video. Stay safe and stay creative, everyone. Bye for now.